All right, let's talk about something that's running in the background of your mind all the time. It's like a hidden operating system, this primal, instinctual force that secretly drives who you're attracted to and what persuades you, often without you even having a clue. Let's dive in.
So, has this ever happened to you? You're chasing someone, you're totally captivated, the spark is undeniable, and then, the very moment they turn around and like you back, poof, the magic just vanishes. It's so common, and it feels completely illogical, right? But what if the answer has nothing to do with logic at all?
Well, that's because you're looking in the wrong place. The key to all of this isn't in your conscious, rational thoughts. Nope. It's much deeper, in the ancient instinctual part of your brain, your inner mammal. This is the part of you that's really calling the shots on desire and influence. And that brings us to our first big idea, the brain's primal OS. See, if you want to understand why people do what they do, or even influence them, you have to learn to speak its language. And I'll give you a hint. It's not about complicated arguments or spreadsheets. It's about tapping into these really fundamental survival instincts. And lucky for us, there's actually a roadmap for this. The key instincts that run this inner mammal can be boiled down to a simple, powerful acronym, FATE. And no, this isn't about destiny. It's a guide to the 4 pillars of primal persuasion. Okay, let's break FATE down. First, you've got F, for focus. How do you grab an animal's attention? Next is A, for authority. Who does it trust to lead it to safety? Then T, for tribe, that incredibly powerful, deep-seated need we all have to belong to a group. And finally, E, for emotion, the ability to make someone feel something real through a story. These 4 things, they're basically the programming language of our primal brain. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It really boils down to this. If you can get someone's attention and tell them a story that resonates, you can pretty much guide their emotional state. It's like a direct line to the feeling part of their brain, completely bypassing all the rational stuff. Okay, so that's the rulebook for how our primal brain can be influenced. Now, in this next section, we're going to see how that exact same system is the engine that drives attraction. And as we talked about at the beginning, it often sends us in some pretty confusing directions. Which brings us right back to that core mystery. Why is it that the moment someone becomes unavailable, they suddenly seem 10 times more attractive? Why is the pursuit itself so thrilling? Well, the answer isn't just in psychology. It's in the actual chemicals that are coursing through your brain.
And here is the absolute key to understanding this whole thing. Our brains are actually not very good at telling the difference between wanting something and truly liking it. These 2 feelings are driven by completely separate neurochemical systems, and once you get that, the whole mystery of desire starts to make sense.
So let's just put them side by side. On one hand, you've got wanting. This is the chase, right? It's all about anticipation, the thrill of the new, the unavailable. It feels like fireworks going off in your brain. But then you have liking. This is about connection. It's fueled by trust, the comfort of the familiar. It feels like emotional safety. Totally different vibes, right? So the chemical that's running the whole wanting show, that's dopamine. Now, people often call it the pleasure chemical, but that's not quite right. It's the anticipation chemical. It's the neurothrill of the hunt. It's what motivates you to chase a reward, but it has almost nothing to do with actually enjoying the reward once you get it. And then on the other side, for liking, you've got oxytocin. You've probably heard of this one, right? The trust chemical, the bonding chemical. This is what creates that feeling of a deep, genuine connection and emotional safety with someone. It's less like a firework and more like a warm, steady glow. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. When an attraction is brand new and exciting, your brain is just swimming in dopamine. It's all about the chase. But then, look what happens as that relationship grows into a stable, trusting bond. The dopamine levels naturally drop off, and oxytocin takes over as the main player. Your brain is literally shifting gears from pursuit to connection.
But hold on, the story doesn't stop with the chemistry, because it gets even weirder. Your brain isn't just a passive receiver of all these signals. It's also an active storyteller, and it's constantly going back and rewriting the past.
Yeah, it turns out our memory has this funny habit of editing our past desires. So when you look back on an old crush, your brain often cranks up the volume on those feelings. It retroactively turns what might have been just a mild curiosity into this epic story of intense, passionate love. We basically create a better, more meaningful narrative after the fact. I mean, this quote just gets right to the heart of it. Think about that person you can't seem to get over, the one that got away. It's worth asking yourself, was the feeling really that intense at the time? Or has your brain's inner storyteller just been polishing that memory ever since to make it feel more important? Okay, so let's put all the pieces together now. On one hand, we've got the fate instincts that influence our primal brain, and on the other, we have the chemicals, dopamine and oxytocin, that are driving our desires. So, how do these two systems actually talk to each other?
And this is why this is all so important. The fate principles aren't just abstract ideas, they directly mess with our brain chemistry. A powerful story, that's emotion, can trigger that huge dopamine rush of the chase. Building a sense of tribe and authority can create the trust and safety needed for oxytocin to flow. And the goal here isn't to learn how to manipulate people. It's about self-awareness. It's about understanding that when the fireworks fade, what's left over isn't a flaw. A peaceful, stable connection is your primal brain finally deciding that it feels safe.
So at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Your brain is running on ancient mammalian software that's hardwired to love the chase and rewrite its own stories. But now you know the code. You can recognize when it's the dopamine talking. You can choose to build the kind of safety that leads to real connection. Your instincts are ancient, for sure,